What's up everyone, Tony here, and this is the second of 3 videos detailing the 3 new roles added to Red Dead Online in the Frontier Pursuits content update. Today we'll be taking a closer look at the Collector role. If you enjoyed exploring the world and collecting cigarette cards, dinosaur bones, rock carvings, dream catchers, and about 639 different plants in the single player portion of Red Dead Redemption 2, then this is the role for you. At its core, the Collector role is all about exploration. You'll search high and low throughout the entire world of Red Dead Online for the many collectibles that lay in wait. When you're ready, you could then sell those collectibles to the mysterious Madame Nazar for cash. Ultimately, you'll find yourself gaining a ton of money, XP, and role XP in the process. Seems simple enough. However, not all collectibles are created equal. And then there's the whole question of where exactly you can find each of these collectibles. And what exactly is the process to find everything and rank up as efficiently as possible. So today we're going to simplify the role and look at some good collector strategies that will help you reach max rank a bit quicker. Where exactly do each of these collectibles spawn, and how do their locations change? Do you need to invest in these special collector items like the shovel or metal detector? And finally, which of the collectibles will make you the most cash as quickly as possible? By the end of this video, you'll be a master collector and reach that max rank in no time. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. To unlock the collector role, you will need to find Madame Nazar somewhere on the map. Her location changes every single day, so if you're having trouble finding her, luckily the Red Dead Online community has you covered. Just check out this website to find her location on any given day, and I've provided a link in the video's description. Once you've managed to track her down, it will cost you 15 gold bars to purchase the collector's bag and get started as a collector. Alternatively, you can boot up GTA Online and collect all 54 hidden playing cards to get the collector's bag for free. If that's the route you want to take, I've actually created a video detailing all 54 locations of each card, so check that out if you need some additional guidance. But before we dive into the collector role specifically, I would personally recommend unlocking all 3 roles as quickly as possible. Now, there are plenty of collectibles to keep you busy if you choose the collector role, but I do think there's an inherent burnout factor that could come into play if you just collect, and collect. I found that breaking up the collecting with hunting bounties adds a lot to the overall Red Dead Online experience. And there have been plenty of occasions where I've been attacked by a wild cougar while out looking for collectibles. Cougars are worth a ton of material value, and donating them to my camp does a lot for my trader business. In my opinion, having all 3 roles going on at once provides the optimal gameplay loop at the moment, and is Red Dead Online at its very best. With that out of the way, let's turn our focus specifically to the collector role. Once you open the collector's bag, you'll get a rundown of all the different collectibles that you could find spread across the game's map. We have a bunch of different tarot cards, wildflowers, lost jewelry, arrowheads, family heirlooms, coins, antique alcohol bottles, and bird eggs. It's now up to you to explore the wide world of Red Dead Online and collect each item. It's a lot to take in at first, but just know that you don't have to track down full sets of everything you see here to find success as a collector. When you're ready, you could then sell the collectibles you found to Madame Nazar, either directly to her at her little shop on the map, or by mailing complete sets to her from any post office. For your information, here are the payouts for each set. Selling a full set of collectibles will always provide the best payout compared to selling them individually. And in addition to all that sweet cash, you'll net a cool 1500 role XP as well, in addition to all the XP you gained just from picking up each individual collectible. That's some good stuff, and if there's one role where gaining XP shouldn't be much of an issue, it's the collector role. And that's especially the case if you own the Outlaw Pass, which gives a 25% boost for all role XP. And you absolutely should have the Outlaw Pass because that thing is busted and pays for itself really quickly. Now, before we get into where you can find each collectible, we need to first learn how each item can be collected. We'll be starting at the very beginning here, so I'm going to assume you don't have a shovel yet. At this point, you can only collect tarot cards, wildflowers, bird eggs, or antique alcohol bottles. These are standard items that you could just walk up to and collect, except for some of the bird eggs, which you may need to shoot out of a nest in a tree using the varmint rifle. Most of the time, you'll be able to activate Eagle Eye, and yellow mist can be seen emanating from the collectible. For each of these collectibles you find, you'll receive 100 roll XP. The other items can only be collected, and maps will only be sold to you if you reach certain criteria. You can only collect arrowheads after buying the shovel. Family heirlooms and coins require both the shovel and metal detector that you can access after reaching rank 5. And finally, we have the lost jewelry, which requires the shovel, the metal detector, and that you reach collector rank 10. For now, let's just worry about those first 4 collectibles and getting to rank 5. Now, to actually find these collectibles, well, you can randomly loot them off corpses, but really you have 2 main consistent options. First off, you could purchase a map from Madame Nazar. I think it's best at first to buy a few maps since it will help you get a good overall feel for the role, and give you an idea of what types of landmarks you should be looking for if you want to come across a hidden collectible. By activating one of these maps, the locations for 3 collectibles will appear highlighted on your map. From personal experience, just buying maps and finding the collectibles at your own pace is a fine way to rank up through the collector role. It didn't take long using that method to reach rank 5 and purchase both the shovel and metal detector. With that, we could get into our first tip of the video. Getting the proper equipment is the key to finding the most collectibles as quickly as possible, and thus making cash and ranking up as quickly as possible. One of the most common questions I've seen since Frontier Pursuits was released is it worth it to spend all that money on the shovel or metal detector? And my god, the answer is yes. By the end of this video, you're going to be making so much money off of collectibles that you won't even know what to do with it. But it all begins with the shovel and metal detector. So as soon as you can afford them, absolutely buy them. You'll make that money back in no time. The shovel is available to purchase as soon as you begin your role as a collector, and it'll cost you $350. Then the metal detector, which is unlocked at rank 5, can be purchased for $700. If you're having trouble making the money necessary to buy both of these items, here are a couple of ways to make a bit of quick cash. I should also probably mention here that if you haven't already, be sure to turn on your controller's rumble. At rank 3, you'll unlock the divination skill. When you're close to a hidden collectible, the rumble will get more and more intense, and when you're right beside the collectible, your controller will feel like it's going to explode in your hands. However, for collectibles that are buried underground, obviously that rumble won't do you much good unless you have a shovel. And in other cases, you won't feel the rumble at all unless you're holding the metal detector. Nonetheless, the rumble is super helpful when it comes to finding the precise location of every collectible. With the shovel, metal detector, and divination, the entire world of collectibles is now open to you, and you can collect every single one without any issue. Also, keep in mind that with these tools, individual collectibles will now pay out much better when it comes to roll XP. Every item you collect through digging nets you between 200 and 250 roll XP, and that adds up really quickly. So be sure to save up and buy those items as soon as humanly possible, and you'll be rolling in giant piles of cash soon enough. If you're still just starting out and having some trouble hitting rank 5, let's get right into tip number 2. This is an important tip for all 3 roles, and the collector is no exception. At first, you'll only have 1 daily roll challenge to complete, with a second unlocked at rank 5 and a third at rank 10. But when getting started, you're going to need all the roll XP you can get, and doing the daily challenges is usually the quickest and easiest way to gain a bunch of extra XP without much additional hassle. Plus, once you get that daily challenge multiplier going, you're going to be rolling in XP and gold, so be sure not to forget your daily challenges. It's pure bang for your buck, and if you only have 30 minutes a day to play Red Dead Online, spend it on completing a daily challenge. The collector role in particular also provides, in essence, a weekly challenge, asking players to collect 3 specific collectibles in a 1-week time frame. This is obviously extremely difficult, given that you need to find 3 specific items out of 164 in total. And thanks to the 3-day system, the location of each item will change every day of the week. But, especially at the lower ranks, the cash and XP you gain off a mere 3 items is worth the hassle. So, how exactly do you track down these 3 elusive items each week? Well, the quickest and easiest way would be through this website created by the god, the absolute legend, John Ropke.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
John created this awesome interactive map that points out the locations of each and every single collectible in Red Dead Online. For all you collectors out there, this map is your new best friend. I provided a link to the map in the video description. Once you're there, you should see the 3 weekly collectibles highlighted in green. The map should also dynamically change depending on which day of the 3-day cycle you are on. If you're not finding the items at the location shown on the map, try going to the settings on the sidebar and switching the day. With the help of the map, you should find all 3 of the weekly collectibles in no time at all. At that point, you could trade them all in person to Madame Nazar, or mail them at any post office. You'll receive $70, but more importantly, a 1,000 roll XP payout for completing this weekly task. At this point, you should be moving through the collector role at a pretty solid pace. Now we're going to get far more acquainted with the world map. I mentioned the 3-day system, so now I think it's time to really dive into it and learn just how exactly the locations of each collectible work. So far, we've been making our way through the collector ranks by buying the maps from Madame Nazar. And like I said, that's a perfectly fine way to make it through the role. But there is a second method, and that is by just going to the specific location on the map without any of Nazar's maps and just collecting the collectible. Indeed, you can follow a map or YouTube video that points out the precise locations of each and every single collectible and just collect them that way instead. However, the locations for each collectible aren't quite as set as they are in the single player portion of Red Dead Redemption 2. After a couple of weeks exploring the role, the Red Dead Online community was finally able to reverse engineer exactly how the seemingly random locations of each collectible actually worked. In reality, the locations weren't random at all. They just rotated. Luckily, this rotation is on a set schedule. Every collectible has 3 different spawn locations, and the spawn locations will change every day. In other words, we are on a 3-day cycle. Day 1 is on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Day 2 is on Wednesdays and Sundays. And Day 3 is on Mondays and Fridays. The day will switch over to the next at exactly 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which means the locations of all the collectibles will change with it. If you aren't in the Eastern Time Zone, you'll have to do a bit of math to figure out what your specific schedule is, but that is just a simple Google search. Ultimately, it is crucial that you know which cycle you are on, because that will allow you to actually follow a precise map and find as many collectibles as possible in a short amount of time. As I mentioned earlier, that collector's map that I linked in the video description is a god tier companion for any serious collector. With this powerful tool, you can quickly and easily find any collectible you're looking for. More specifically, you can quickly and easily find full sets of each collectible without much issue. The map even provides a timer showing how long until the cycle changes to the next day, with the locations of each collectible changing with it. You could turn off the icons for collectibles you're not interested in finding, you can switch the day on command. This thing has it all. If you still haven't reached rank 5 or purchased the shovel and metal detector, it's time to use this map to find complete sets of cards, bird eggs, wildflowers, and antique alcohol bottles until you have enough cash to buy them. With access to the shovel and metal detector, along with an understanding of the 3-day cycle, the collector role really begins. You can now set out to find any set of collectibles on the map, and at this point reaching max collector rank shouldn't be much trouble. However, even after reaching max rank, we can push this role even further with some select strategies and planning. So now let's get into the best ways to generate some massive returns for collectors. With the shovel and metal detector in hand, you can now start going out and really focusing on collecting and selling full sets. In fact, at this point, you really should only be going out to collect the most valuable sets of items, which I've listed here. Really, everything else at this point is just a waste of time. $335 from collecting only 9 necklaces is some mighty fine cash. And if you only have a limited amount of time to play per day, that's a pretty incredible payout considering how few items you need to set out to collect. However, we can go even further beyond. We must create the perfect route. I've locked myself into a room and played Red Dead Online for a month straight. When I emerged, I came out with the perfect route for collectibles. The most cash generated in the shortest amount of time spent collecting. And here's what I labbed out. By dedicating about 90 minutes to collecting 9 necklaces, 15 coins, and 8 bracelets, you can emerge with 3 complete sets that can be traded to Madame Nazar for over $1,100 and a ton of XP. To accompany this collector guide video, I've put together 3 separate videos showcasing the route for this strategy, one for each day of the 3-day cycle. At first, it will probably take you longer than 90 minutes to find them all, and obviously the exact time will depend on a number of factors like how fast your horse is. But with repetition, you'll shave that time way down, and you'll probably just start memorizing the route and exactly where each collectible can be found. I follow this route almost every day now, and it tends to take me 90 minutes more or less. Anytime you set out to find a bunch of collectibles like this, I'd recommend saving a clean copy of the map you'll be following, which you could then mark off in Photoshop or MS Paint, so you know what you've collected and what you still have left to find. If you're marking everything down, you can even come back later to complete your route if something comes up and you can't collect all 32 of the outline collectibles in one sitting. It's a bit of extra work, but trust me, in the end it is so worth it. Ultimately, it's through collectibles, and specifically an efficient collecting route like this one that I've outlined, that you will probably never have to worry about money again in Red Dead Online. Until Rockstar wakes up and nerfs the payouts. Because honestly, this is insane. Look at that payout. As of October 2019, this is the best way to make a ton of solo cash and XP in Red Dead Online, no questions asked. Take advantage of this now, kids, before it's too late. And that's gonna wrap it up for the collector role. Really, the toughest part is those first couple of ranks and saving enough money to buy the shovel and metal detector. From there, reaching the maximum rank should come super fast, and you'll be looking at Scrooge McDuck levels of money to swim in going forward. If you have the patience to follow my collectibles route every day, you are going to be making so much cash and XP. Like, just stupid amounts. And if there was ever a role that could be done while multitasking, like just watching a TV show or listening to podcasts or music, it's this one. Almost daily, I crank out a set of collectibles with the game's audio muted while doing something else, and it's great. In the coming days, I'll be diving deep into the final role in Red Dead Online, the Bounty Hunter. And then, on November 5th, the PC port of Red Dead Redemption 2 drops, so expect full coverage of that banger as well. If that sounds cool to you and you want to see more Red Dead Online and RDR2 videos like this one, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks to the Frontier Pursuits update, Red Dead Online enthusiasm is at an all-time high, and I have been completely obsessed with the game since the update went live. These roles are an absolute game changer and really bring to the forefront everything I loved about Red Dead Redemption 2, incorporating them into the online mode in a very fun and satisfying fashion. But that's all for today, so until next time, thanks so much for watching everyone, and take care.